The late atheist philosopher Bertrand Russell was once asked what he would say if he found himself standing before God on Judgment Day and God asked him, "Why didn't you believe in me?" Russell replied, "I would say, not enough evidence, God, not enough evidence." Lack of evidence is not the problem. Ravi Zacharias put it this way: the problem is not the absence of evidence, but the suppression of it. Romans 1:18-20 says, "For the wrath of God is revealed from heaven against all ungodliness and unrighteousness of men, who suppress the truth and unrighteousness, because what may be known of God is manifest in them, for God has shown it to them. For since the creation of the world, his invisible attributes are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made, even his eternal power and Godhead, so that they are without excuse." In Nathan Frankowski's documentary, Expelled, No Intelligence Allowed, Ben Stein interviews Richard Dawkins, who is probably the world's most famous living atheist. Let's listen in.
The Hebrew God, the God of the Old Testament, he doesn't exist in your view.
Certainly, I mean, that would be a very unpleasant prospect.
And the Holy Trinity of the New Testament,
nothing like that.
Do you believe in any of the Hindu gods? Like
How can you ask such a question?
You don't,
how
right?
could I? I mean, why would I, given that I don't believe in any others?
You don't believe in the Muslim God?
No. I mean, why do you even need to ask?
Well, I just wanted to be sure. So you don't believe in any God anywhere?
Any God anywhere would be completely incompatible with anything that I've said.
I'm just trying to make sure you don't believe in any God anywhere.
No.
What if after you died, you ran into God? He said, "What have you been doing, Richard? I mean, what have you been doing? I've been trying to be nice to you. I gave you a multi-million-dollar paycheck over and over again with your book, and look what you did."
Bertrand Russell had that point put to him, and he said something like, "Sir, why did you take such pains to hide yourself?"
Mr. Dawkins attempted to paraphrase Russell's response to a similar question by submitting a question that he would ask God. "Sir, why did you take such pains to hide yourself?" This is a great question, one that bothers many, even though there is plenty of evidence for God's existence in creation and conscience, so much that God holds us without excuse. Yet why, if God just wanted us to believe in him, doesn't he just allow us to see him directly? Well, it is true that God has chosen to hide himself from direct view. Isaiah 45:15 says, "Verily, thou art a God that hidest thyself." But why does he do this? First, it is because God is too holy for us to behold him with our sinful mortal eyes. Exodus 33:20 says, "And he said, Thou canst not see my face, for there shall no man see me and live." Secondly, God has chosen to veil himself because he wants our belief in him to be based not on sight, but on faith. Hebrews 11:3 says, "Through faith we understand that the worlds were framed by the word of God, so that the things which are seen were not made of things which do appear." Hebrews 11:6 says, "But without faith it is impossible to please him. For he who comes to God must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of those who diligently seek him." So God hides himself from our view, because if everyone could just look up and see him, it would require no faith. We would essentially be like robots with no choice. But God, in His ingenious plan, has chosen to cloak Himself from our sight. He wants to see if we will choose to believe and trust in Him, even though we can't see Him. Is your faith in the God of the Bible?